For many players, Digimon is more than just a franchise. It's a memory of after-school episodes, pixelated battles, and the excitement of watching a partner evolve for the first time. Over the years, Digimon games have taken many forms, from classic RPGs to dark tactical adventures, life sim partner raising, and story-driven mysteries. Today, the Digimon gaming landscape feels richer and more diverse than ever. Whether you care most about emotional storytelling, strategic combat, or the bond with your digital partner, there is a Digimon game built for your playstyle. Here are the 5 top best Digimon experiences every fan should know about. Now that is an excerpt from a recent article from Bandai concerning and named the 5 Digimon games you need to play. The only issue I have with this article, and the reason I'm making this video, is the list is just the 5 most recent games that are the most accessible that constantly go on sale on Steam. Like, it feels like it disregards the long-standing history of Digimon. We're on the 30th anniversary. They've had a ton of games, and I don't know, it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way just a little bit. So I want to bring attention to some other Digimon games, because like this list just contains Time Changer, makes sense, great entry. We'll talk about that a little later. Latest game, right? Then we have Survive. I will touch on that later too because I have very strong opinions on Survive. Then we have Hacker's Memory, Cyber Sleuth, and Next Order. Like I said, they're all just the most accessible games currently on Steam. That being said, let's talk about my list of Digimon games. And these are going to cover a few different genres and a few different time periods. Some are going to be easier to access than others, but every one of them is worth experiencing for different reasons, and I hope you'll agree with that. If not, I'm sure there's a Digimon game out there for you. Just describe what you're kind of looking for down in the comments, and we'll see if we can find a match. So, let's take a look at our first game, shall we? The first game on our list is going to be Digimon Redigitize Decode. Now, this is a game that never got localized to Western audiences, and Bandai really should. At least I think Digimon Company and Bandai should. This is a game that I think is very special, and it really builds upon the basis of the original Digimon World game. It is one of those creature or pet raising adventure games where the Digimon is raised, it evolves depending on the stats that you raise it with, and it kind of does its own battles based on automation and whatnot. You can give some commands and cheers here and there, but it's basically auto battling for the most part. This game has a lot of relevance to Digimon that a lot of people don't really appreciate. It is where Mirai comes from. You know, best girl, top waifu, Mirai. I have strong feelings about Mirai. And you should too. Anyways, this is the expanded version of the game. Originally it was a PSP game, then it moved over with a 3DS expanded version, which is the Decode, right? Not only is Mirai from here, it introduces a host of new characters with their own unique Digimon partners and personalities, but it follows, I believe, 3 different storylines over the course of the game. You have the tragic tale of Vidium and its search for life. It's like this computer program that took on sentience that isn't quite a Digimon, but it wants to exist badly, but its pure existence is disrupting the whole digital world, and it's why you were called here. There are many mysteries surrounding Vidium, including a missing scientist, a missing father, big corporate nonsense, all kinds of things that are leading into this being's creation and why it's here in the first place and what you could possibly do to stop its rapid evolution from destabilizing both the digital world and the human world. Now that already sounds interesting, but it added 2 more stories on top of that. After Vidium's storyline, you end up having a smaller plotline involving the 7 Great Demon Lords. It takes on a whole new spin on their story, and it dives into them deeper than most other games do. This is also where you meet Rina from, our really hyperactive-go-lucky character whose partner is Vivi. You probably see him in Next Order or Cyber Sleuth or some of the other games. She makes appearances in different games throughout, but this is where she originates as well. So you get both Mirai and Rina from this game, and you see how she develops her personality. She wasn't always that happy-go-lucky. She wasn't always that hyperactive. You see her meet Vivi, them develop a bond. She actually gets kidnapped, and she serves as almost like an analog to the player character. You have to go and help rescue her. You make a lot of new friends, a new Digimon, whatnot, and you see the story of the 7 Great Demon Lords play out, as well as Barbamon's scheme to summon a whole all-powerful being. Now, this is also a story that's special because it introduces a new take on Lucemon, and you see the fall of Lucemon from Angel to being kidnapped and tortured relentlessly by the Demon Lords until he loses his mind and goes Chaos Mode. It is a fascinating sub-story, and that is the second of 3 stories, like I said. The third one is about X Antibody, specifically led on by Dukemon and Omegamon, or Gallantmon is Dukemon, you know. And the way it bases itself off of the X Evolution movie, with the final threat being Death Xmon, and how X Antibody and the Royal Purge all play into this plotline. These are 3 distinctive storylines that touch on different aspects of Digimon and do a great job of implementing a variety of gameplay, and it's one of the few games that actually touches on X Antibody at all. Interesting characters, and beyond that, it also brings back old characters in an optional like Tournament Tower area. You get to run into Tai and fight him and the other Digidestined. Like, all of them are there. Not only that, but you even have a crossover character with Lily from Tekken, who plays a story role at points. This game is fascinating, it's very charming, it's beloved, and I really wish that we got a Western version here. It can be a bit hard to get your hands on. There are some fan patches out there as well. If you find a way to get your hands on this game and play it, I highly recommend that you do. It is worthwhile for any Digimon fan or any fan of monster taming adventure games in general. You will not go home disappointed by trying this, and if you enjoy it, you can build upon it by playing Digimon World 1 or Next Order if you like this style of gameplay. So, that's our first game. Now let's take a look at our next one. The next game is a childhood favorite of mine. It is a game that was very important to me growing up, and that's Digimon Digital Card Battle. Now, let me tell you a quick story. Like, obviously by the name, you can tell it's a digital card battle game. The Digimon come out of the cards. They do these cool little battle sequences. They have multiple attacks you can choose from. You have option cards to customize their loadouts, and you even get a partner card that you can customize the ability and stats of, and even level up and whatnot. There were so many secret battles throughout this game that you could unlock afterwards. There were codes that you could find. There were different characters from the show you could meet, and they all had like subplot lines. Armor Evolution never felt more satisfying, and introduced a lot of great new armor evolutions that we weren't familiar with before, like Shadramon. Oh my god, I love Shadramon's design. Shadramon is Wormmon with the Egg of Courage, and yeah, no, this game was fantastic from the ground up. It had very basic math to it, and that's what makes it special to me. This is the game that taught me math as a kid, because I would love to see the battles play out and whatnot, so I would start to try and figure out the calculations before they would display on screen, and that ended up helping me practice in 1st and 2nd grade basic arithmetic, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. I got so good at math from playing Digimon as a kid that I got awards as a kid in my class. I got math awards because of Digimon Digital Card Battle. This is a game that's labored with love, with a lot of customization options of how you build your deck and whatnot. The Digimon show up in polyagonal 3D battles. They have different animations for each individual move. They have special abilities. There's so much thought put into it. And the way you go from town to town to unravel this mystery and these subplots going on, the way you run into familiar faces and characters between the 01 and the 02 Adventure Kids, and the way that everything comes to a head when you finally face the big bad at the end, which isn't just the one from the show, but it also ties in the World 1 game. By the way, you're playing as the protag from World 1. It's very clearly the same guy, and you face Analog Man again. Like, the way this game touches on every aspect of Digimon that was relevant at the time. From the game, Digimon World 1, to the show with Adventure 2, to the card game at the time. It is a labor of love with so much extra content, bonus battles, hidden bosses, a lot of work that can go into it. It is something that if you have a PS1, definitely see if you can grab a copy of this game somewhere, maybe on eBay or what have you. If you find a way to play this game, definitely do if you're a card game fan or just a Digimon fan that wants to experience a little more of the fainter side of history there. Alright, that's our second game, so let's take a look at the third. So this next game is meant to kind of draw attention to a few things. Digimon is a game series that has touched so many genres, and I wanted to show that level of silliness and whimsy. Digimon has a kart racer, Digimon has a visual novel, Digimon has like an arena collectathon battler thing, like they have card battles and RPGs and so many other things. So to kind of show that level of silliness and to draw attention to something else that we'll touch on in a moment, I want to bring up Digimon Rumble Arena. Now, this is a simple 2D fighter, and it is just delightful. You can unlock Digimon, you can digivolve from Rookie to Mega. There's a lot of different unique unlock requirements. Introduces Grimmon, who is just a very difficult final boss fight, but he is so cool in his design as well. I remember being intimidated by him as a kid, but I loved playing. I loved using like Great Tornado over and over again, going up and see how high I could knock an opponent into the air with combos. I remember using the super move for Imperial Dramon Fighter mode, where just like this whole combo flash thing before he uses his photon laser. Like, the game is full of love, and a fighting game like that just kind of shows the different directions Digimon games can take. And the main reason I'm bringing this up is also to bring some attention to the Digimon Rumble Arena HD Remake project, which is a fan-made project being done to do a full HD remake of this game. Not only that, but it's expanding upon it. New arenas, new cards to power up and use items and whatnot. New Digimon, so many new Digimon with new moves and all kinds of great stuff. This is looking like a really fun and interesting fan project, and you can look into and download it yourself. It's not for profit or anything. It's just all rights to belong to Digimon, but this is a project full of love, and it'll help you kind of understand and have an easy way to access Digimon Rumble Arena while adding so much more. And when I say they expand the roster, I mean we had War Greymon, which we had before, with an updated sprite and animations, but we also have everything from like Gallantmon to Seriousmon. We also have Ryudamon, we have Digimon from the manga, we have the World 3 trio, we have Appmon in here as well. This is such a lovingly handcrafted, fan-made project based off of the PS1 classic. Go check it out. You can find them on Twitter. The Twitter account is called DRA_remake. You won't be disappointed. I'm going to be playing this soon too. And yeah, support these guys. They clearly love Digimon. You want to support these kind of projects. This looks incredible. Now let's move on to our fourth game. Digimon World 3 is such a special game, and it's filled with nostalgic love for so many Digimon fans. For me, it was the pinnacle of Digimon games for the longest time. It was my personal favorite since childhood until the more recent ones, which we'll get to those eventually, right? Now, Digimon World 3 is a turn-based RPG where you fight with a team of 3 Digimon. You pick from 3 different sets at the beginning, and they all have like very unique team layouts. Not only that, but you could unlock more Digimon to have for your team via different challenges against DRI agents and whatnot, where you have to fight these like super bosses to unlock them. It wasn't a scan or collect. It was a build up your party. It was more straightforward RPG. It had a unique story where you were stuck in a video game world. I know that sounds familiar, but this game did it a long time ago. PS1 long time ago. And it had this great story where it would play out over time. It resembled Pokemon in some familiarity because there were like leaders to different cities to challenge, but it had a flip side where it was like this greater corporate scheme going on to take over the world, and introduce an overwhelming evolution threat of Vemmon, who would slowly accumulate human weaponry in the real world while causing shenanigans in the digital world, leading to this giant planet-sized boss fight against Galacticmon, which was an incredible sight to see. This is a game that had weapons, armor, equipment, accessories, special abilities. It had different evolution paths locked behind different stat and training and whatnot. It had DNA evolutions for one-time super attacks, and it had the Digivolution gauge, which I desperately wish Digimon would bring back in a game at some point. Basically, when you took damage, when you dealt out damage, when you did critical hits or super effective stuff, this gauge would slowly build up. And then, in the middle of combat, if you filled out that gauge, it would do a blast evolution, causing your Digimon to go up and digivolve for the remainder of the battle, or for like 3 or 5 turns, where it'll be in a more powerful, evolved state. And you could do so much more. It was such a cool way to introduce new Digimon to you, to see the different evolution paths your partner could take or were in the game. And it would often turn the tides of battle. When you could get it to activate, you would be down on your luck. You'd be fighting against the odds for your life. You'd barely be making it by, and then you finally get your second wind, a way to fight back, more powerful than ever. It was so climactic. It felt so anime. It was so much fun. There were unique characters, a unique story, so much that this game had going for it. Mind you, the encounter rate was intrusively high, to be fair. That would be a drawback. But It's a game worth playing. It's a game that really instilled people's love of Digimon RPGs in particular. I would say this was the one that paved the road for the future games in a lot of ways. And there's a reason why I think it might be the fan favorite from the older games. It's absolutely worth your time to try. Please try Digimon World 3 or Digimon World 2003. It is a PSX game. You can probably find a copy online, or you can find other ways to play it, but that's on you. I won't say more on that. All I'll say is I love this game. Now, before we dive into the last game, I want to touch on a few games that I didn't talk about during this list so far, and then we'll hit the final game. Now, as much as I like Digimon, the reason I'm putting this list together is because these are games that I feel like people would enjoy, and not every Digimon game is a great entry for new players. Digimon World Dusk and Dawn are great for fans who like Digimon, and that's their draw, honestly. They have a lot of Digimon in them, the sprite art is beautiful, but the games themselves are just inherently poorly designed. The dungeons are tedious, there's no real map system, there's so much backtracking, the level of difficulty spikes that would happen throughout. Like, it's just a difficult and frustrating time with that game. That's how I feel about a lot of the DS and 3DS games for Digimon, honestly. Digimon Survive is rough. It is a game with a very troubled development history. I think it ended up restarting its development multiple times. At some point, it ends up being developed in like less than a year. There is a lot of pacing issues with the narrative there. There is a lot, the writing has a lot of localization issues, a lot of pacing issues, a lot of narrative issues. It was such a great idea to have like a more mature horror-based Digimon game, and then it just didn't deliver. Your choices felt like they barely mattered until you hit post-game or New Game Plus. It just didn't feel like for a visual novel your choices were impactful enough. You didn't feel like you had enough variance in things, and like I said, it got so tedious and just, it was rough. And I like visual novels, like, yeah, Survive's a little rough, honestly. And then Digimon has a lot of other silly games like Digimon Kart Racing on the GBA. Digimon World 1 is a fantastic game. Digimon World 2 is a bit of a mixed bag. It's more of a dungeon crawler. Digimon has so much variety that there's something for everyone. But that all being said, I just want to kind of touch base on some of those ones. Stay away from the MMO, except Super Rumble. I hear that's really good. But yeah, let's touch on the final game. Alright, and the final game on this list has to go to Digimon Story Time Stranger. I feel like everyone kind of saw this coming. Everyone knew that this was going to be the last game. I thought about including Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth and Hacker's Memory. I kind of count those as the same experience. You just got to play them side by side. Start with Cyber Sleuth, go into Hacker's Memory. They're satisfying, they're great, but Time Stranger is the next like natural evolution in the story series JRPG series, right? Like, Time Stranger does everything Cyber Sleuth and Hacker's Memory does, except better. The only thing it's really missing is honestly people's waifus. That's what it comes down to. But it has better voice acting, it has more localizations, it has more Digimon, it has advanced gameplay options, it has better quality of life features, it has a better aesthetic overall, it has more enhanced environments, it has so much more that it tops out Cyber Sleuth and Hacker's Memory in almost every single way. Digimon Story Time Stranger is the best that Digimon has been in ages. It's the most accessible as well. It's available on just about every platform. It's even coming to Switch soon, and it might already be at the time you're watching this. It's on every platform. It has so many Digimon from across varieties. It introduces DLC for the first time. They're short packages, they're pretty affordable, but they add interesting experiences, including Gakuran, which adds the Bonchos, which we never really touch on, which is really fascinating to see them get personalities. That's another thing. It does the writing really well. It does a narrative that serves itself so well beyond what a Digimon fan would want, because it appeals to a wider based audience with just good writing, with good characters, with charming Digimon with their own personalities, multiple evolution routes, and so many just fun features like Digiride, which doesn't do anything mechanically, but lets you ride around on different Digimon just for fun, for flavor. Quality of life features like you not wasting a turn when you use an item, like you being able to speed up combat, the different little eggs and whatnot you get. It's just a good game through and through. It's the best Digimon game that Digimon has had in the longest time, and it's a familiar style with turn-based combat. The DNA evolutions or Jogrisses are available to you mid-combat as an attack as well. There are interesting ways with the pacing being dealt out, because you can't just overpower yourself by getting access to a super strong Digimon early on. No, you have to earn it by upping your rank, by doing the side missions, by investing yourself in the world and the game. And it feels so good when it pays off and you finally get that new rank and evolution tier, when you finally are able to go from champion to ultimate. It feels more satisfying than Digimon has in a long time. And like I said, the narrative is really well done, and it touches on something that isn't overdone. Because honestly, I'm tired of Royal Knights. We got so many stories with the Royal Knights. We got so many stories with Yggdrasil. It's fantastic that we got to go to Iliad and meet the Olympus 12. And not only that, they're not even an established force. This is the theatrical performance of how the Olympus 12 comes to be, including a lot of twists and turns, and it keeps you guessing all the while, giving you these little breadcrumb clues throughout. It had me theory crafting, and if a game can get me theory crafting, I'm all in. I love theory crafting for games. The Digimon Story Time Stranger has my highest praise. If you haven't already, this is the game that you need to try for Digimon, and it will probably go on sale pretty soon, right? Anyways, that's what I feel about Digimon games. That's my 5 lists right there. Let me know how you guys think it compares to Bandai's list, and if you want to see more about these, or if you want to learn more about any games we talked about, I'd be happy to make a video about them. Thank you so much for tuning in. If this resonated with you or you enjoyed it at all, including my mumbling and my stumbling over my words, then consider maybe subscribing, liking, commenting, all that good stuff. I'm trying to be better about this. I'd appreciate the support. Much love and happiness to you, and bye-bye for now.